So I would like to defend well and attack well, but change the way you think, the way you believe, the way you love to play football. In today, just for a game, you don't have time, and it's not possible. So, because the players are not going, they are not going to believe me. So I have to. Of course, you have to adjust many things because it's a special team for the way they play, for the long time, for the quality and the players, not just for the three players in front. So how they play in the middle, the build-up, the high pressing, the counter-attack, the set pieces. So they control absolutely all departments about one game, and we have to adjust and try to be ourselves as much as possible here.
Pep, hello. After all the success that you had here, the 14 trophies, the league titles, the Champions League, what are your emotions when you return here? And can you try and take the emotion out of the occasion?
Well, it was being half a year ago when I came with Bayern Munich. It's always here. Always is special for me to sit here. I spend a lot of time here, and this stadium is part of my life. So I grew up here like a boy. I make all my career like a football player, trainer here. So it's always is a special. Will be always a special, and especially when I see people who I like to see. That is I like. So when you travel around here, always you remember the places for the people you met, and that is the case. So my family is here, so that's why I'm always happy. And of course, it's a good test for us to play against the best team.
Hola Pep, buenas tardes.
Hi Pep, good afternoon. Claudia Collado, Movistar Plus. What does it mean to you to play against Leo Messi again, and how do you see him right now with respect to the Leo Messi you trained a few years ago?
Well, I'm going to play against Barcelona first of all. We're not going to play against Messi, but the best player is Messi, Leo, of course. I'm happy that he recovered from his injury. Happy to see him back on the pitch. It's always a pleasure. It's a great satisfaction to see him play, and I'm happy that he's fit and he can play tomorrow.
Hi Pep, Marta Ramon, RAC-U. I would like to know, what do you acknowledge in this Barca of your legacy? Now, that's not my job, I'm afraid. I can't say so because I don't do what Luis is doing. That's his job. I think Frank Rijkaard, maybe not for so long. He did 2 very good years. We did 4 very good years. And Luis has done 2 and almost 3 very good years. It's been really good for many years, despite the changes. The base, the players are still there. And tomorrow I would like to go back home to Manchester with a good result, to be a step closer to the next stage. But whenever Barca do well, in the case of Luis, in the case of Juan Carlos and many of the players I was lucky enough to coach and to be with, then I will be happy if I was able to help them in any way. I will be thankful for all the assistance they gave me, and I was thankful for being able to be here, then to Germany, now in England. It's all thanks to them as well. So I wish all the best for them, for the people I know, and all of these players. It makes me really happy and satisfied.
Manchester City were here 2 seasons ago. It was a one-sided game. I think you were here in the stadium, in the seats. It was a one-sided game. What can change? What has changed at Manchester City in that time that can give you confidence that this game will not be the same?
But it was 2 or 3 years ago, and it was with Manuel. Manuel is the first coach who was able to reach 80 finals, 40 finals, like 80 finals in 2 years, and last season the semi-finals. So a lot of credit for Manuel of what he did in the past, because help us for the people who's coming next. Who is the target, who has to face on. So we cannot forget that Manchester City was 35 years old without competing in Europe. 35 years old is a long time. So that means you are important in Europe when you are there a lot of time. That is the next target for the people who's not now in that moment here to achieve in the next 5, 6, 7 years, always be there and competing every time against the big clubs as best as possible, as much good as possible. And when that's happened, once time we'll be there. So that is our target. And to compare, I don't know, because I was not with Manuel inside, so I don't know what he did, what he made to compete against Barcelona. I know what they're going to do tomorrow. I know what I want to do. We're going to try, and after we're going to see if we're able.
Buenas tardes, mister. A Rafael Iverso, Tuttosport. Hace 2 años llega.
2 years ago, you arrived in with the team, with Bayern, a consolidated project. They had been working the same group for many years, and you had been there for 1 year. But now, however, you are here at the beginning of a project. Could tomorrow's game be a good test to understand to what level you are, the team is?
Well, we need points. If you lose 2 points against the fourth in your group, you are kind of very much forced to play, to wait until the very last match day in order to progress to the next round. So, we've been always only a few months working together. It's just such a little time to start doing things. I'm still kind of getting to know my players, the way they play, the way they are. 2 years ago, when we got here, we came at a semi-final. Teams that were historic in Europe have a demand, let's say, to win Champions Leagues or get to the finals. But after I reviewed the game, we didn't look that bad, But it wasn't enough for us at Bayern to reach the final. And now with Man City, it's a good test, like you said, to see how what kind of moment we're at. We are going to play against one of the best teams in the world, or probably the best team in the world, and we're going to see how we respond. But no, it's not a friendly. It's not a friendly game. We need points. We are going to see what we can do. We're going to try and win the points.
Pep, a question from the BBC. I was just talking to a colleague from Radio Catalunya who says even now they miss having you here as head coach. What do you miss most about it, and what do you miss least about it?
No, I don't miss. I was so happy here, so happy, and I miss the people I met here. When I was happy working with them, the club changed the people, so most of them I don't know them. So the club remains the same, with a huge history behind, and will become a huge history in front. A lot of passion for the spectators, fans. In that moment, with a generation of players, unbelievable generation of the players, it doesn't matter who they are in the church, who are in the bank. Always, they are fighters competing, big talent. So it was a part of my life. I closed the chapter, and I opened in Munich and E1, and now in E1.
Hola, buena tarde. Soc l'Umar.
Good afternoon, Diari El País. I would like to know if you had the chance to choose, if you whether when you play against Leo Messi as a rival coach, is there a possibility to enjoy a game, or do you suffer him? I have always thought that with great players, Leo, Suarez, Neymar, or Bussi, or Iniesta, when they have the ball, they're very good. They're really good. You need to be quite aggressive, intense. You need to try and ensure that they have the ball as less as possible. We know it's difficult. They like to have the ball. And we should try and avoid that as much as possible. Without the ball, they won't have it, basically. And so that's the goal. I'm really, really happy of being here anyway. I would have liked the draw to have been easier for our club. Suddenly, we are playing against Gladbach, very difficult club. And Barcelona, that's definitely not easy to be able to classify, but it's about a challenge. This is a challenge for us, and we're willing to take it on. Good afternoon, Pep here. Elena Condis, COPE. I wanted to ask you whether you tried to sign any football player in Barcelona besides Claudio Bravo this summer. Thank you.
Well, I didn't call any player on the phone. I know that there are wars that are lost, even before they are started. So I don't want to justify my words or compare them against what's being said. I'm not gonna. But it would be nice if that both versions of a story were kind of contrasted, and nobody has called me. Well, I called Thiago at the time because his representative was my brother, and we managed to sign him for Bayern. We saw a good opportunity, and we did. A couple of years ago, I called Neymar to sign him for Barca. So if we saw that, Sandro Roussel, the president, saw the chance to do it, and I phoned him up. And then when I was in New York, it was not clear if they had signed it or it was Real Madrid that would have signed it. And I called his father to see the chance to sign him or what. But when I spoke to him, and then I said, if you have a chance, you can go. I think you should go to Barcelona, and you can call Neymar's dad if you want to. And he decided to come to Barcelona in the end. And this summer, talking about this summer, I never called Messi. I never called Neymar, Luis Suarez, Busquets, Iniesta. I didn't call anybody. As for Ter Stegen, I knew that he wanted to play all the time, and we got in touch. He wasn't happy with his situation, and we needed a goalkeeper like Claudio or like Ter Stegen. And Claudio came, and Ter Stegen decided to stay. But if I ever called a player playing in any other team, it would be because of a special situation of not playing, and it would be my right to play, It's okay. I could have phoned someone if he's not playing or whatever, but I never called Leo Messi. In the case of Leo, I really wish him to play here and finish his career here. Always play here for a long time. But maybe he will think, okay, I want to go play somewhere else, because maybe he wants his kids to speak English or wants to live a different experience, like happened to many of us, and maybe it could happen. But if he decides to go and it happens, there probably would be a list of 6, 7, 8 people, or 6, 7, 8 clubs that we want to sign him. But it will be down to him. It will be him who decides. Messi will decide where to go. And I had the chance to explain myself. So it's not true. I never called a single player from FC Barcelona. I'm sorry about the information that came through.
Pep, aquí.
Hi, Pep. Welcome.
Oh, and something else about this. If you don't believe me, because I know the people who publish this have a very good rapport with President Bartomeu. Maybe they can call him, because I know they've got their phone number, so maybe he can corroborate my story.
Hi, Bill. David Ibañez, Mediaset Sport. I wanted to ask you about Piqué's decision a few weeks ago. He said that he would be leaving the Spanish national team. The player he is. What's your opinion about that?
Gerard, I think he's old enough. So if he decided to do that, I think it's the people who helped me that much, to be the way I am as a manager, I just wish them the best. So if he decided that way, I think it's fine. I respect him, and good.
Graham Hunter, welcome home. I know that the game is the most important thing, but in football, it's also a thing of friendship, right? The first time you played with Luis Enrique in '92 in the Olympics, did you found a good friend in him, didn't you? A football guy, and you've been working together for many years. You won trophies with him. That won't have an influence in tomorrow's game, but you're spending some time with a true friend, right? A man of football.
Yeah, it's the first time that we face each other. Well, not the first time that we faced each other, but he gave me a bit of a whipping on the first game. But I had no doubt that he would be doing well here. When I was in here in the first team, he was already in the youth team for Barca, but I already knew he was special. He's direct, honest, very hardworking. He's had a great success this year. I'm sure he will do a very successful third year. I'm really happy for him, and I wish he can stay in Barca for many years at Barca, because in this club and this team, he's doing really many things which are done better than when I was here. And you just wish well to your friend. So if he does well, I'll be happy. I wish that we can both play a good game tomorrow and give him a good upset or a good scare, and I'm happy to be here at Barca.
Hi, Pep. Sonia Jaldà, Catalunya Radio. You know Barcelona very well, and I wanted to ask you whether you've been looking at videos, and also with respect to ball possession, which is key for tomorrow's game. Do you see your team capable of taking the ball from Barca? No, it's not easy. It's not easy by any means. That's one of their strengths. And when they don't have the ball, they get organized really well. They're very fast in the front line. In my time, they were very good in the short counterattack. Now they're really good in the short and the long counterattack, and it makes them very, very dangerous. These days, with international games, we've had more time to be able to study the game, and I've been able to see the recent games they played. The other day, for instance, they played against Depor with a defensive 3 in a somewhat different way. They defended with 4 as well, sometimes with 3. But the way of playing, their style, and the quality of their players, and Luis's idea will be quite clear.
When you came here with Bayern Munich, you kept Messi quiet until late on when he scored twice. How difficult is it for defenders to keep their focus for 90 minutes against a player of his high quality? And as a manager, what kind of instructions can you give to them to try and contain him as a player?
I don't know. I don't know what instructions I can give to the contenders to control the talent. So it's 90 minutes is a long time. I think that guys have a lot of experience to say they wait his moment. So it's impossible. They will have a moment, and when they are so precise. They don't need to create a lot of chances to score a goal. That is the big talent from the strikers from Barcelona. So. And try to take the ball and let them run as much as possible. No, it's so difficult against the team, but they have a good build-up with Ter Stegen, with Piqué, Umtiti, or Mascherano. They have a good build-up, of course, with Sergio. They make some good movements build-up. They create a chance. When we make a high pressing, they are able to play direct with Luis Suarez. Win the balls with Luis Suarez is not easy because he's a fighter, and after second balls they are there attacking almost a 1-against-1 or 2-against-1. So it's so difficult to control them. So we know that. But that's why I said to your colleague, it's a good test for us to know how is our level against one of the best teams. Repeat, the best team for me, and try what I want now. If you ask me what I want tomorrow, of course, the points to be able to go through for the next round. But especially to be ourselves. That is what I want, to be ourselves. We did in Everton. We went in our games in the Premier League, except against Pochettino team, when Tottenham was much better than us. So because they are so good team, not because we didn't want it. Sometimes the opponent is better. You have to congratulate it and try to be ourselves. And I am looking forward. I need to know my team as quick as possible, and tomorrow is a good test to know how is our level against one of the best teams. And if you are not able, we'll be okay, guys. We have to work more. And if you are able, say, okay, we are there. We are going to try to keep going for the next games.